Alright, I'm back again with another discussion video talking about movies I watched recently. So this is for October 2025. I have here again, like usual, 30 movies, I think, roughly. Most of them are from my physical collection, but I also have some here that I don't have a physical copy of that I'll talk about last. So yeah, let's start off with a Western. This is Cemetery Without Crosses. Now, Radiance announced a while back that they are doing a 3-movie pack of Robert Hossein films. And I started to think, like, where do I know that name from? Because I don't think I've seen anything with Robert Hossein in it or directed by him. He's a actor, also director. But yeah, then I realized, oh yeah, I have one of his movies in the collection. It's Cemetery of Crosses. So I watched it. It's short, 90 minutes. It's a Western. It's pretty damn good. I liked it. I'd give it a low 8 out of 10. It's definitely, like, it's not one of the great spaghetti Westerns of all time, but it has a cool vibe to it. It's about this woman whose husband is killed by criminals, and then there's this sort of a I don't want to spoil anything, but there is some tensions between the killers and the widow's kind of goons that work for her and stuff like that. And it's an interesting revenge movie. I did enjoy it quite a bit. So definitely, like, if anyone is interested in westerns and haven't seen this one, it's definitely worth watching. So yeah, Cemetery of Crosses. It has an interesting storyline and a ending that is pretty bleak, but I like that sort of stuff. Right. Next up, I watched or rewatched. I've seen Anaconda years and years and years ago on TV. I think it's one of those movies that used to play all the time on TV late at night. So yeah, it has Ice Cube in it, Jennifer Lopez. I remembered it being awful, but I ended up enjoying it quite a bit, so it's not nearly as bad as I remembered it being. Jon Voight is insane in this movie. He's really good. And yeah, it's just a schlocky B movie. It has a CG anaconda in the Amazonian River, like eating people. I had a false memory with this one because I remembered Ice Cube getting eaten by the snake. But apparently there's a scene in the second movie. There's 4 of them, I think, at least. There's a scene in the second movie, Anacondas, where a black male actor is eaten by the anaconda. I must have mixed up those 2 movies. So yeah, I mean, I think Anaconda is just it's a fun movie. Like back in a day, it was probably bottom of the barrel, but now today, when we have so many awful movies, especially the CG horror movies that are being made in the 2000s, like they are so much worse than Anaconda. That kind of props Anaconda up. Like I think it's a fun movie. So yeah, I'd even go as far as give it a low 6 out of 10. Definitely deserves it. A movie that doesn't deserve a 6 out of 10 is Steven Seagal's Half Past Dead. This is a Finnish Blu-ray, so the title is in Finnish there on the cover, but it's a prison movie with Ja Rule and Steven Seagal. It's from the early 2000s, I think. No, it's 2008. No, 2002. It says 2008. Is this Blu-ray? This Blu-ray is from 2008. The movie is from 2002. And yeah, it's pretty bad. Not gonna lie. Worst movie so far. There are going to be some here in this video that are far worse than this, but yeah. Half Past Dead, just an uninspired action movie set in a prison. Steven Seagal is awful in it. Ja Rule is annoying. His music is awful. Hot take for some people, maybe. Ja Rule, his songs are in this movie all over the place, and they suck ass. They're so bad, and yeah, it's not good. There's the bad guy is played by Morris Chestnut. Like, he cannot act. at all. He's probably the worst actor in this movie. Supposedly a really tough guy, bad guy, but he just ends up being comedically awful. So yeah, there are some action sequences in the movie that are kind of exciting. Some of the gunfights and stuff, and it is a surprisingly high budget movie as well. I was constantly surprised by how many effects there were, like real proper movie special effects. So some of the special effects work is pretty nice, but the movie itself is just uninspired and just bland. And yeah, way too long also. It's like 1 hour and 45 minutes. Cut 20 minutes out of it and like make it a fun little popcorn movie. It would be better. So I'd give it like a low 4 out of 10. Next up, moving on with more African American film, if you want to call Steven Seagal's Half Past Dead an African American film. It definitely has many black actors in it. Right, so I watched Foxy Brown by Jack Hill. I think I talk about one of the other ones in one of the earlier videos. I can't remember. Maybe I did. But yeah, maybe I did talk about coffee in one of the earlier videos. But yeah, Foxy Brown is one of these other ones. This was supposed to be one of these other blaxploitation movies by Jack Hill. This was kind of supposed to be, I guess, a sequel to Coffee, but they decided not to do it as a sequel, so they changed the names of the characters and whatever, but it's still kind of a sequel. It's strange. Foxy Brown, it's like Pam Grier. Pam Grier is badass and she shoots people. If you are interested in seeing Pam Grier's boobs in all of their glory, they are very prominently represented in this movie. I personally am a fan of Pam Grier and all of her assets. Yeah, it's pretty fun. I think Coffee as an overall package is more fun. This is maybe a bit dull at times, but it does have some incredible sequences in it. It does have a person getting just ripped apart by an airplane, like a propeller. That was exciting, and also has some other pluses for it, like Pam Grier's boobs, which I will again highlight here, are a main selling point for this movie, and they are fantastic. So I'd give Foxy Brown maybe a low 7, high 6. It's pretty good. But yeah, Coffee is just like miles ahead of Foxy Brown as an overall package. Right. And then I also watched, for the first time ever, Jackie Brown by Quentin Tarantino, which has Pam Grier in it, so it kind of goes together with Coffee and Foxy Brown. However, I was very, very disappointed by this movie. I hate to say that this is the worst Quentin Tarantino movie I've seen. Like, easily the worst Tarantino movie I've seen. It's 2 hours and 30 minutes long. And it's just dull. Like, this is the first Quentin Tarantino movie I've seen that I thought was dull and boring and just all over the place. It has some great performances in it. Robert De Niro is fantastic as this really, like, doesn't give a shit about anything, depressed, kind of low-level gangster. He's fantastic in it. Samuel L. Jackson is always really good. Pam Grier is also really good. She is a good actor. She's not just some blaxploitation starlet from the 1970s. She's actually a really good actor. Robert Forster also, just a bunch of these genre movie legends with Robert Forster. There's another Robert Forster movie that I'll talk about later in this video. Yeah, he's always fantastic. So great performances, good music. This is not a blaxploitation movie. I was expecting a movie more in the blaxploitation vein, because of Pam Grier and the name of the movie and everything. But this is not at all like that, which was disappointing to me. It's basically like, it's Tarantino kind of doing again the Pulp Fiction style of dialogue and like laid back, hanging around gangster stuff. But it's not as good as Pulp Fiction, nowhere near. And the ending of this movie, it just goes on and on. They show the final ending sequence. So this movie is about this kind of like a money laundering thing, like illegal activity of some sort. You'll figure it out if you see the movie. Illegal activity of some sort, and Pam Grier plays this like airline hostess who smuggles stuff from across the border, and she gets caught in it, caught by detectives and kind of forced to do some undercover work, and there's all kinds of shenanigans going on. But they show the final sequence of the movie with like a bag full of money getting swapped. They show it like 4 different times from different point of views of the characters, and it's just not worth the time, because the whole scheme, it's not that interesting, it's not that complex. Like it's pretty basic stuff. So there's really no reason to show it from like 4 or 5 different perspectives of different characters. It just keeps going and going and going. And yeah, I'd give Jackie Brown a low, maybe even as low as a low 6 out of 10. I would put it on the same line with Anaconda, but I think Anaconda is more entertaining. So there's a controversial opinion for you. Anaconda better than Jackie Brown. All right, let's move on to 88 films. I watched both Zebra Man, the first one by Takashi Miike, and the sequel, Zebra Man 2, Attack on Zebra City. Now, these are early 2000s action comedy movies. If you've seen Takashi Miike's movies from this era, you know exactly what you're going to get. You're going to get some like dark, pretty violent action stuff. Lots of CG effects, really in your, like obviously in your face CG effects. Takashi Miike doesn't care if his CG is like obviously CG and doesn't look that great, or if it's like gets outdated, which is kind of funny. It's one of those things that I kind of like about his movies, but also dislike, because I'm not a fan of CG effects in general, especially not bad ones. But like him doing it so abrasively and in your face, it's kind of funny. So yeah, Zebra it's a superhero action comedy movie. It has Sho Aikawa in it. Perfect casting. Sho Aikawa is fantastic for this. So he's this guy who is kind of, he can be a tough guy when he wants to, but he can also be really like pathetic and wimpy. So he's perfect for this character, this sort of middle-aged guy just living this miserable family life, but he also wants to be a superhero. So he's the perfect actor for this movie, and it's a really fun movie. I would give it a high 7 out of 10. Definitely worth checking out. I think this is one of the stronger movies from this Japan Anarchy line from 88 Films. This is probably my second favorite film from this series. Evil Death Trap, the original, is by far my favorite out of these. But yeah, not a lot of high quality stuff in this line, unfortunately, so far at least. Yeah, Zebra, fun movie, definitely worth checking out. Now, what I found weird is that in these special features, Tom Mess, who is one of the creators, I guess, of this line, guy who knows a lot about Japanese film, has written books on the topic. He said that Zebraman 2 is, in his opinion, a better movie. I would disagree with that wholeheartedly. I think Zebraman 2, Attack on Zebra City, was incredibly dull and just stylistically something that I just don't enjoy. It's more of a sci-fi movie, which I do appreciate. It's a sequel. It's a direct sequel to Zebraman. I'm not going to spoil what happens at the end of the first movie, but in the second movie, Sho Aikawa kind of wakes up in the future in this sort of dystopian city where there is this kind of a person who is dominating the city in a very like typical dystopian sci-fi way. But yeah, that's enough about that. I don't want to spoil anything more. And Sho Aikawa wakes up in this. There's this woman who becomes Sho Aikawa's nemesis, and the woman is so annoying. Like, she is the quintessential early 2000s annoying Japanese, like, young actress, and she has these awful music video sequences, like these early 2000s Japanese pop music videos, and I hate that style so much. The CG is also, again, really bad, but it's not even fun this time around. And overall, the movie is it's more it's less about Sho Aikawa's character building on Sho Aikawa's character. It's less about that and more about this other stuff that I just don't find as interesting. It's kind of a critique of the whatever popular culture, whatever, but it just ends up being a part of that popular culture that I just don't enjoy, like this mainstream early 2000s Japanese popular media. It's stylistically incredibly annoying, just not aesthetically pleasing at all. And this movie goes for a lot of that same style, and I just dislike it heavily. So I would give Zimmerman 2 maybe a middling 5 out of 10. All right, moving on to another Asian movie. This is Uncle Boonmi, Who Can Recall His Past Lives, by Apichatpong Verset Hakul, or however his name is pronounced. This Blu-ray is really expensive. It's by New Wave Films. It's a region-free American release, I think. The last time I checked, people were buying this for like $70 or $80 on eBay. So I'm really glad that I didn't pay that much for it. But yeah, this is a fantastic movie. Like really, really fantastic. One of the most unique movies I've seen in a long time. It's really difficult to describe what it actually is, but if you have seen other movies by the director Verset Hakul, you know what you're going to get. It's extremely slow and atmospheric. It's almost like an ambient movie, where you have this constant jungle ambience in the background, like from the start of the movie to the end. So the audio design in this movie is fantastic, and it's about these people and this weird magical realist happenings going on. So there's this guy, Uncle Boonmi, who with his family lives like next to a jungle in Thailand or wherever. I think this is a Thai movie, or Vietnam maybe. No, it's Thai. I think it's Thai. Has to be Thailand, yeah, surely. If I'm wrong about that, I'm wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure it's Thailand. And he has a son who disappeared, and he comes back as this sort of a hairy monkey creature for reasons that I'm not going to go here. It's pretty funny. And there are ghosts also who appear and talk to people, and people can just see them. So it's very much in this magical realism genre of people living their lives, and then also this otherworldly stuff, this strange otherworldly stuff happening around them, and it's just a part of the world and everyone accepts it. It's interesting. And from what I gathered from the special features, because this is quite a confusing movie, right? It has different kind of almost like short stories strings together, and then the Uncle Boonmi character is there always. But what happens in this movie doesn't really make much sense often. There's a sequence where there's a lake and there's a woman in a lake who has sex with a fish or whatever. And from the special features, I gathered that this is almost like a collection of different kind of folk tales from around the region put together, which makes sense. So I've probably missed like most of what this movie is about, but it's very interesting. It's very atmospheric, and it's one of those movies, like, if you are even a little bit sleepy, do not watch this movie, because you are going to kill yourself watching this movie. It is really, really, really slow and atmospheric and dark. It has lots of scenes, like really long scenes in the jungle, with just jungle ambience and people walking slowly through the jungle. And it has this almost like a hypnotic quality to it. It's like a Thailand. It's like a, is it Thailandese or Thai? It's like a Thai version of what who is the director? What Andrei Tarkovsky did with his movies, the Soviet movies, like Nostalgia and Stalker, but just in a jungle in Southeast Asia. It's interesting. I'd give it a strong 8 out of 10, but I can see myself rewatching this and appreciating it even more on a second watch. So I could see myself giving this even a much higher score than that. But for the time being, as a placeholder score, 8 out of 10, strong 8 out of 10. Don't really know what to think about it yet. It's one of those movies that you kind of, after you've seen it, just weeks and weeks after, months after, you still kind of think about it. Like every once in a while, it pops up in your head. Right. Another movie that I watched because I wanted some more Thai stuff. I watched A Prayer Before Dawn, which is a really brutal, almost like a biopic of this British guy, an actual real guy, who wrote a book about his experiences. He was in Thailand. He's a boxer, and he got caught by the police selling drugs and was sent into a Thai prison. And this is his story in a Thai prison. And he's also, like I said, a Thai boxer, so like a Thai kickboxer. And this movie has some horrifically violent Thai boxing matches in it. As far as I know, not really even like they are not 100% going full force at one another, but they are not like acted fight scenes in a typical movie way where people aren't really punching. Like these people are really kicking and punching one another, and you can feel the impact. The fighting scenes are incredibly well done. Maybe a bit too long at 2 hours, but yeah, I really appreciated this. It doesn't pull any punches, like pun intended. Like the fight sequences are violent and horrifying, but then also the living in the prison sections are also really violent and horrifying. Yeah, I really like this one a lot. I would give it a solid 8 out of 10 as well, based on a book by the actual guy who this movie is about. Also, the actor Joe Cole is fantastic in this. Haven't seen him in many movies. He's really good always. Right. I also rewatched one of the movies that I think I saw this in, when did this come out? Like 2007, 2008 maybe. I watched The Wrestler again. This is for the first time in a long time. And I didn't remember the movie being this good. I really, really love The Wrestler, apparently. I think I gave it a 7 out of 10 when I last saw it, but now I have to give it a strong 9 out of 10. The reason why I don't give it a 10 out of 10 is because I think the visual style of the movie is a bit annoying at times. It's very early 2000s with this camera that is constantly following the main actor from behind, and some of the scene it's too handheld. Like I would appreciate it if it wasn't just always handheld, and just the camera is just always handheld, either right behind the actor, so you can barely see anything other than their shoulders and like their back, or it's right in front of their faces, like shaky close-ups of the actors' faces. Like it's very early 2000s in its style, and it's not my favorite style. I much prefer older movies with more well thought out cinematography, let's just put it that way. But yeah, The Wrestler, Mickey Rourke as this show wrestler. Great movie. I mean, I was a huge fan of WWE and WWF when I was a kid. That was the Attitude Era in the early 2000s, late 90s. I was a huge fan of that. Also WCW and everything like that. Like the really violent and over the top era of show wrestling. Huge fan of that. And this movie takes place partly in that era. So this is one of those actors who used to do all the crazy shit, and now their body is broken down and they're still kind of doing it even though they can't. Mickey Rourke gets a heart attack in the movie but just keeps wrestling, and it's incredibly dark and compelling. I think it's just fantastic. So yeah, The Wrestler, great movie. Is it the best movie Darren Aronofsky made or has made? Probably. Yeah. Has to be, probably. It's The Wrestler and then Black Swan probably after that. And Requiem for a Dream maybe as third. Maybe I'm forgetting something, but yeah, The Wrestler has to be his best movie. Right. I also watched all three of the old Tom Clancy movies. So The Hunt for Red October. I thought that I had seen this before, but while I was watching it, I realized that I probably hadn't, or if I had, only in part, not fully. So yeah, it's a submarine movie based on a Tom Clancy novel with Sean Connery in it. Sean Connery playing a Russian or a Soviet, like submarine commander or whatever his rank is. I don't want to question it. It also has Sam Elliott. What's the Sam Neill? Sam Neill is also a Russian in this movie. Yeah, I mean Sean Connery speaking in a Scottish accent, playing a Soviet high-ranking military official. I'll take it because Sean Connery is really cool and just a great actor. I'll take it. Doesn't bother me at all. Also, Alec Baldwin in this movie. I'm not a huge fan of Alec Baldwin. I think he's kind of a moron. Not even that great of an actor, really. But he's all right in here. This was, as far as I remember, his first really big movie that he was in. So for that, it's like a good performance. But yeah, it's a Tom Clancy thriller. 2 hours and 15 minutes. Submarines. Like Americans trying to figure out what is going on with this Soviet submarine that is kind of gone missing in the Pacific. Not the Pacific, the Atlantic Ocean. The Atlantic Ocean. And yeah, it's a tense thriller. It's fine. I'd give it a solid 8 out of 10. It was a good time. I like these sort of movies. Like these are the boomer movies from when did this come out? Like 19? Oh, it's 89, right? So 1989. Like this. Most of these are from the 90s. So movies like this one, like Patriot Games, which I also watched. Like these are the quintessential boomer movies from the late 80s, early 90s era. So yeah, Patriot Games. It's another Tom Clancy book and a movie based on it. This time, Jack Ryan is the CIA agent. Jack Ryan is played by Harrison Ford, who is a much better actor in comparison to Alec Baldwin. And this movie is about the IRA, so the Irish kind of liberation front people. Harrison Ford, Jack Ryan, witnesses a terrorist attack and gets targeted he kills one of the terrorists, one of the IRA people, and then gets targeted by the IRA after that and has to protect his family and everything like that. I was kind of disappointed by Patriot Games. I was expecting it to be more entertaining than it was. It's fine. It's a 2-hour long Tom Clancy movie. It does have some interesting action sequences in it, especially near the end when there is this sort of attack on this house that Harrison Ford and some other high-ranking US officials are at, getting targeted by the IRA. But I thought overall the movie was kind of on a silly side, really. It has who is it? Like Sean Bean, right? Is it Sean Bean? I think. Yeah, it has Sean Bean as the main bad guy, and he is not that great really in this movie. He's more on the comedic side, like comedic evil, which I don't think they were going for here. Yeah, I thought it was just fine, like a low 7 out of 10 for me for Patriot games. But out of all of these Tom Clancy movies that I watched, I liked the best Clear and Present Danger. Now, this one is an insane action movie. Like, this is fantastic. The back cover gives the wrong year, I think. It's 94, yeah. It's somewhere on the back cover it says... Oh, was it this one that had the wrong year? Oh, yeah, this one had the wrong year. This says 2002 on the back. It's early 90s, not 2002. This is from 1994. Now, this is what I want from a big budget Hollywood action movie. Like, this is it. Really fantastic stuff. It's about this sort of a CIA covert operation fighting against the cartels in Colombia. And Harrison Ford, Jack Ryan, gets caught up in the action without his knowledge, because he isn't in the know of the operation. Where there's this special forces group operating clandestine in Colombia, and Harrison Ford is kind of used by some of his peers in the movie. No spoilers. One thing that I appreciate about this movie is that it has Rainbow Six people in it. So people who have played Rainbow Six games or read the book Rainbow Six know the character Ding Chavez, the just fantastic rifleman from the games and the book. He's in this movie as well. He's one of the main operatives here. And just overall, there are so many insane action sequences. The sequence with the ambush on the like car. What is it called? Like a bunch of cars going around. There's a term for it. I can't remember it off the top of my head. I'm blanking. Well, the attack on the cars, where that Harrison Ford and his other CIA people are driving through this narrow streets in one of the cities, and they get ambushed by RPGs, and just everything explodes. It's fantastic. Also, some of the covert operations in the jungle with the attacks on for example, the underground drug manufacturing laboratory and everything like that. It's so well done. So well done. I would give a Clear and Present Danger a high 8 out of 10. Definitely worth it. Maybe even a low 9 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. I may be rated a bit higher than most people, but I just, I watched The Hunt for Red October, Patriot Games, and Clear and Present Danger like back to back. Not back to back, but on 3 days, back to back to back. And I think Clear and Present Danger is by far the strongest of the three. Right. How long have we gone for? 33 minutes. Maybe I'll get to finish in less than an hour this time. I have one more stack here, and then I have some movies that I don't own physically. Right, so on to the next stack. I watched the awful family movie Marmaduke. And yeah, I didn't watch this by myself, thank God, because it was it was picked by a friend group that I'm in. Bunch of people wanted to see Marmaduke just as a joke, so we watched it, and it's bad. We watched it with the Finnish dub as well. Like there is who is in this movie? There's a really famous actor in this movie. William H. Macy is in this movie, and we watched the movie with Finnish dub. So there's some random Finnish guy who just doesn't sound at all like William H. Macy, speaking with his mouth. It's off-putting, and yeah, it's awful. Like it's bad. I would give Marmaduke maybe a low 3 out of 10. It's not the worst trash I've ever seen, but it's just a bad family movie with talking dogs in it, and all the jokes are awful. Like it doesn't land. I'm not a huge fan of Marmaduke, but there you go. A much better movie is Nightfall by Jacques Tourneur. Don't know how to pronounce the name, but whatever. It's a noir movie set in the snowy wilds. It's very interesting. So there's a guy who is out camping with a friend of his and gets attacked by a bunch of criminals who are running away. They robbed a bank or something and they have a bunch of money and they're trying to get away. And they kind of use this guy and his friend, kill one of them, and the other one survives by sheer luck and then steals the money and runs away. It's about these criminals trying to get the money back. Really fun stuff. I would give Nightfall a solid 8 out of 10. It's a nice, like an hour and 20-minute long, hour and 20-minute long noir movie with some intrigue in it. Really strong main performance by Aldo Ray. Not an actor that gets many got many main roles in movies. He's really good. Like this sort of hench, like really big muscular hench guy who's also a really good actor. There aren't that many of those around or weren't. Right. Next up, I watched Shark, directed by Samuel Fuller. He wanted his name removed from the movie because the production studio completely, or the distributor completely butchered the movie and cut it to shreds before launch. He wanted his name removed from the movie, but didn't get his wishes. So it's a shark movie. It's not really a shark movie. It's like an adventure movie, underwater scuba diving adventure movie that does have sharks in it, but it's not really the main thing. It's not a Jaws movie. This is also way before Jaws. This is from 1969, so many years before Jaws. But yeah, it has Burt Reynolds in it. Maybe one thing that I was caught off guard here is that the restoration is really bad quality. So the picture quality is all over the place. This is released by Signal One, not one of the great boutique Blu-ray companies. So their releases often are kind of hit or miss in terms of picture quality and everything. There wasn't really much in terms of special features or anything. I don't think this one even have subtitles. Probably not. Some of the Signal One releases don't even have subtitles. I have one, actually not in this video, but in one of the other videos, I have one that is upcoming. I think I have one that didn't have subtitles in it. But yeah, it's at times really, really good. There are scenes in it that you can definitely see that this was directed by Samuel Fuller. It has this sort of very energetic and just vibrant feel to it in many of the chase sequences and action scenes and everything. But then there are other scenes in it that are just horrifyingly dull and boring. Just everything that has to deal with human interaction and drama is awful in this movie. Like really, really bad. Shockingly bad. So this is a movie of two different tones. One tone is the Samuel Fuller, this is an exciting adventure movie. Let's get some treasure and kick some sharks' asses on the way to the treasure. And then the other half is this really boring and dull, and also in terms of picture quality, bad looking drama movie. It's awful. It's really bad. So I would give Shark like a low 5 out of 10. It does have its moments, but overall, it's bad. It's bad. I can see why Fuller wanted his name removed from the movie. It could have been really good. There are some really nice effects in the movie. Like there are actual stunts with scuba divers and real shark in it that are quite interesting. Like scuba divers trying to not get bitten by sharks, like visibly trying to not get bit by them. It's kind of insane. So I do appreciate that aspect of it, but for the most part, it's just boring. Right. Now, a movie that isn't boring, probably one of the best, easily the best of the bunch here for this video. The Night of the Hunter. I talked about this briefly in a pickups video recently. Now, I was completely blown away. Like I've heard so many good things about this movie throughout the years. I know people who love this movie dearly, but I wasn't expecting it to be this good. Like this is just one of the greatest films I've ever seen. Caliber material here, like an easy 10 out of 10, like a strong 10 out of 10. If I could give an 11 out of 10, I would give it an 11 out of 10. This immediately goes to my favorite films of all time. Also, the only movie directed by Charles Laughton, which is kind of sad. So it's about this criminal played by Robert Mitchum, who is trying to get his money on this huge amount, trying to get his hands on this huge amount of money that a man had stolen and hid, and he kind of infiltrates the family, seduces the widow, and then tries to get the children of the family to reveal to him where the money is. It's about this cat and mouse game between Robert Mitchum and the little children in the family, and it is incredible. This has some of the greatest cinematography ever in any movie, bar none. Best lighting, especially in the nighttime scenes. Like this movie, like visually, like on a par with nothing else. Like nothing is on par with this movie. It's in a category of its own. It's incredible. From 1955, 93 minutes, perfect length, an hour and 30 minutes, bish bash bosh, done. One of the greatest movies of all time. 10 out of 10, Night of the Hunter. Watch it if you haven't seen it. Does it have? Yeah, it does have examples of the cinematography here in the booklet, so I'll show that a little bit. Like just incredible nighttime scenes with Robert Mitchum stalking the little children. It's so good. It's so good. Also has some comedic relief moments as well, and comedic relief characters in it. So it's not just dark all the time. Like these scenes when the little kids are escaping on a boat down the river in the middle of a night. Yeah. Holy terror. And this scene probably has influenced the ending scene in Hereditary, if you know the horror movie Hereditary. This has probably influenced the triangle shape of that treehouse. Wouldn't be surprised by it. Yeah, Night of the Hunter, fantastic movie. And then I talked a little bit about Robert Forster with Jackie Brown. Oh yeah, I have two movies here with Robert Forster in it. First up, I watched Vigilante, which I thought was really entertaining. It's exactly what you would think from the title. It's a bunch of people fed up with the police not cleaning up the neighborhood, and they start cleaning up the neighborhood by themselves. Directed by William Lustig. He did Maniac Cop. He did a bunch of really entertaining movies. He did also Maniac. And yeah, just a bunch of these. I think he's a pretty underrated 1980s horror director. This is not a horror movie, but yeah, like horror action director. Really good stuff. Has Fred Williamson in it. Great blaxploitation legend. Also great football player. And yeah, Robert Forster in it as well. So I think like if you're into these sort of 80s action movie stuff, movies like Death Wish, and like Charles Bronson movies in general, Vigilante definitely worth checking out. I'd give it like a solid 7 out of 10. Another solid 7 out of 10 for me is Walking the Edge, which is another Robert Forster movie. It's about this woman who tries to take revenge on a bunch of criminals. So it's, again, another Vigilante revenge movie. And then Robert Forster runs into that woman. He plays a taxi driver in this, and the woman hires him to drive her around when she's going around killing these criminals, and then Robert Forster becomes a part of the plot. So yeah, Walking the Edge. Another like a solid 7 out of 10 movie for me. Good stuff. I enjoy these. quite a bit, like gritty 1980s action movies, vengeance movies, revenge movies, vigilante movies. Really good stuff. Right. Then for something completely different, this is still sealed, but I watched at a friend's place L'Avventura by Michelangelo Antonioni. Now, this is a movie that I appreciate existing, but I'm probably never going to watch it again. I thought the experience of watching the movie was quite miserable. It's 2 hours and 20 minutes of people doing nothing. The opening is very interesting. Like this group of wealthy people go to this island on like a leisure trip, and one of the people just disappears from the island when they're on the island, just disappears and is never seen again. And then some of the other people who are there on the island try to figure out what happened. And the problem with the movie is that the interesting part, when you are introduced to the characters and then they go on this trip onto this island, and the cinematography on the island is just mind-blowingly good. And then the woman disappears, and then they start looking for her. That's like the first 30 minutes of the movie, like the first 40 minutes of the movie. And then there is 1.5 hours of the people just, walking around, going from town to town. There was a clue, maybe she's here, let's go there. It turns into this sort of a road movie almost. That's just really slow and really quite dull. I know I keep repeating this in many of the videos where I discuss movies, but I'm not a huge fan of movies that are just about the atmosphere and the mood, and they aren't really moving anywhere. That often doesn't grab me. And L'Avventura is one of the most extreme examples of this, where there's very little seemingly happening. There is stuff happening in the movie. It has many themes in it, and it has a societal, political message that is quite clear. I don't want to spoil anything about it, but there is some religious imagery that keeps repeating, and there's this sort of post-World War II misery that is present throughout the movie. Lots of young men with nothing to do, just loitering around the streets, and whenever a woman shows up, they go crazy. This sort of thing. It's not really a mystery what Antonioni is trying to say there with that sort of content. But yeah, L'Avventura is one of those movies that I now that I've seen it, I'm glad that I never have to watch it again. I appreciate it existing. It's a great movie. I just don't want to watch it. It's not for me personally. I'd give it like a 7 out of 10. If I had to pick whether I want to watch L'Avventura, Walking the Edge, Vigilante, Anaconda, or let's say Zebraman, out of those 5 movies, which ones I want to see again, L'Avventura would be the last one that I pick. Even though it's like in terms of filmmaking, it's much better than all of those, like probably better than all of those combined. It's not an exciting movie for me. So there you go. Me again with my controversial opinions. Right. Now, a movie that is incredibly exciting. I like this movie a lot. Yeah, it's Tarantula, which I also discussed briefly in one of the collection update videos. I am a huge fan of this movie. Love it. I would give this movie a strong 7 out of 10, which is incredibly high for a 1950s like insect creature movie. It has really nice special effects with the tarantula. So there's a doctor who is researching something, and he just keeps making insects and animals bigger. And one of his tarantulas escapes and just keeps growing and growing and growing and starts destroying places. It's really charming. It's by Jack Arnold, so it's by the director who did Creature from the Black Lagoon. In my opinion, one of the best 1930s Universal horror movies. like easily one of the best of those. Is it from the 1930s or 40s? Anyway, one of those early Universal horror movies, monster movies. Creature from the Black Lagoon is just fantastic. And he also did It, It Came from Outer Space, just a fantastic 1950s sci-fi horror movie. And yeah, Tarantula, another hit by Jack Arnold. Really nice special effects. I don't know any of the actors by name, but they were all right. Yeah, maybe the some of the negatives for this movie are just basically related to this release. So this is by 101 Films. It doesn't have any special features, and it doesn't even have subtitles at all. There is a poster included. It's just the same art in poster form. But yeah, it's quite a bare bones and cheap Blu-ray. But yeah, the movie is really fun. So a strong 7 out of 10 for Tarantula. And Jack Arnold. One thing that I appreciate about Jack Arnold and his sci-fi horror movies and these monster movies is that he's one of the few directors who did these sort of movies who had a really good sense for the character and the drama side as well. So the bits in between the special effects and the monsters are actually like interesting, and the dialogue flows nicely, and the characters have interesting things to say, and the scenes are well acted and well directed. So yeah, Jack Arnold definitely one of the best directors for this sort of movies, right? And then I have a couple more here. I was hoping I would manage to do this in less than an hour, but I'm not able to do that. So let's keep going. I watched the entirety of the original Beverly Hills Cop series, so 3 movies. The first one I had seen before, like years and years and years ago, but it's such a long time ago. I may have as well seen it for the first time. I didn't really remember much about it. But yeah, the first Beverly Hills Cop movie is one of my all-time favorite action movies. I would give it a solid 9 out of 10. I'm probably rating all of the Beverly Hills Cop movies a bit more highly than some other people. Maybe like 1 score higher than you would often see, but that's mainly because I really like Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy is fantastic. He was a groundbreaking stand-up comedian. His stand-up special Delirious is one of the all-time great stand-up sets for my money. And I just like Eddie Murphy. I just like Eddie Murphy. So that's that. The first movie is really fun. It's kind of a buddy cop movie, but the buddy cop stuff comes from the side characters. So there's Judge Reinhold, and then the other actor whose name I can't remember, who formed this sort of a LA cop, like young cop, veteran cop duo. And then Eddie Murphy comes along, and he's like a third person there. I really appreciate the style that they went for here for these movies. So it's very heavy on the comedy side, but there's also really hard-hitting action scenes in this. I especially like the scene in the first movie where Eddie Murphy tries to infiltrate the building, and he gets carried out by bodyguards and is thrown through a window out of the building. It's hilarious. It's great. There's great stunt work in the movie. But yeah, the first movie is so much fun. I love it. I'll give it like a 9 out of 10, like I said already. The second movie, many people don't rate that highly. I don't know why, because I think the second movie is like it's slept on. The second Beverly Hills Cop movie, it's basically more of the stuff that was in the first movie, but with a really, really noticeable Hong Kong action movie influence. So Beverly Hills Cop 2, I think it's one of those rare Hollywood action movies that almost feels like a Hong Kong action movie. It's very obviously inspired by like John Woo movies. Maybe in the end a bit too much, because in the end you have this scene with these pigeons and everything. Like, it's kind of maybe a bit too on the nose with the John Woo influence. But other than that, the action scenes in Beverly Hills Cop 2 are like insanely fast paced and energetic and just really fun and entertaining. And then you also have Eddie Murphy again here, who is really great. You have Judge Reinhold. Pretty much all of the main side characters from the first movie return, except for the female, like the main female side character from the first movie. She isn't here, but all the other ones reappear. Judge Reinhold's character is great again. He has become a gun nut for some reason. And it's just really entertaining. I like Beverly Hills Cop 2 a lot as well, so I'd give it like a solid 8 out of 10. And then the third movie, I have no idea why, but it has a Metacritic score of 33. That's insanely low. I think the third Beverly Hills Cop movie, it's from the 90s. The other ones are from the 80s. I think the third movie is still like a fun movie. It's not as strong as the first two. Nowhere near as strong as the first two. But it has a fun setting. It takes place in this sort of amusement park for the most part, kind of a spoof on Disneyland. And again, it has Eddie Murphy in it. It has Judge Reinhold in it. Some of the things that I didn't like about the third movie is that it has some really bad green screen scenes in it, whereas the first two movies have much more impressive stunt work. The third movie has really bad green screen studio setup stuff that isn't really that exciting. But yeah, I'd still give Beverly Hills Cop 3 like a basic 7 out of 10. It's an entertaining action movie. It's a popcorn movie. I wasn't expecting it to be a masterpiece, but yeah, it has its moments. Overall, fantastic series. Some classic movies in the Beverly Hills Cop series. And then, as the last physical movie that I have here, I recently played through the game Indica, which I will talk about. I probably haven't talked about it yet in a recent gaming video when this goes out, but I will in an upcoming one. Probably, if I remember correctly, the order that these are going to be out, these videos. I've already recorded the recent gaming episode. It's probably like late October or something when it comes out. Or maybe it's even November. I can't remember. Anyway, I watched, because of Indica and the nun theme, I watched The Nun and the Devil, which deals with some of the same themes. So it's about nuns who are kind of like, this is a nunsploitation movie. So nuns who are really, really horny all the time. That's the basic idea. It's an Italian nunsploitation movie by Domenico Paolella. I don't think I've seen anything else by this director. Was it any good? Yes and no. It doesn't really have much of a storyline going for it. It has a bunch of nuns in it. They're doing some stuff that they shouldn't be doing. And then there is like an investigation into it by the church, and they get found out and then punished. So it's like the first 2/3 of the movie is the nuns doing all kinds of fun stuff, sexual and otherwise. And then the last third is just them getting tortured brutally. It's not great, but I thought it was, again, the funny thing about these Italian exploitation movies is that while the subject matter is really abhorrent and what is going on in the movies is really politically incorrect and everything like that, they are always shot very nicely. They have a very professional sense to them in terms of the cinematography and the just the visuals overall and everything, the direction, everything is fantastic. But yeah, I'd give it like a solid 6 out of 10. It wasn't the worst movie I've seen. Not even close. But yeah, there you go. Those are the movies that I watched recently that I have a physical copy of. Then I'll do a lightning round as usual here at the end of the video of movies that I watched that I don't have a physical copy of. So I have 7 here. These are all movies that I watched at a friend's place, so these are not from my collection. I watched Spoorloos, The Vanishing, which is the Dutch serial killer thriller movie. Very highly regarded. I think it has a Criterion Blu-ray in the US. Not sure about the UK. I think it's a Studio Canal movie in the UK. There is a Blu-ray out for it, but I don't have it. I should get it. very interesting and different style of serial killer movie, because you know who the serial killer is, and you know who the victim was, and you know who the person is who is looking for the victim. And this sort of you a lot of the movie is about showing you what the serial killer was thinking, what he was like, how he planned, how he abducted this woman, and in the end you find out what actually happened to her as well, which is kind of horrifying. But interesting movie. I'd give it a low 8 out of 10. It wasn't as strong as I was hoping for, because it's one of those movies that you always hear about. It's very highly regarded. A lot of people love Spurloos a lot. I don't think it was really anything mind blowing, but yeah, like a solid, strong 8 out of like a low 8 out of 10 movie. Maybe like an 8.5 for me. I also watched the awful War of the Worlds movie, the Ice Cube War of the Worlds movie. That was, I guess, it came out earlier this year on some streaming platform. It was filmed during the pandemic. So it's basically Ice Cube looking at screens and raising his eyebrows in disbelief for an hour and 30 minutes. It is one of the most insane movies I've ever seen. It is so bad. It's like brain rot in movie form. It moves so fast, and it's all about Ice Cube being this like government agent hacker guy who just has access to every camera in the world and every satellite in the world, and he has 50 screens around him, and he's just constantly moving from one camera to another. And sometimes on the screen there are screens within screens within screens, and then a screen in the left corner and screen on the right corner, and it is so mind-numbingly awful. It's impossibly bad. It is so bad that it is really funny. And there are some moments in the movie that are just I just cannot believe them. There's a scene in the movie. This is a little bit of a spoiler, but not really, because the movie fucking sucks. There's a scene in the movie where like, this is an adaptation of A.G. Wells's War of the Worlds, like the old sci-fi story. So aliens come to Earth, right? And the aliens in this movie, at one point, they delete Ice Cube's deceased wife's Facebook page. And Ice Cube is just sitting there watching it happen, and is just shaken by his deceased wife's Facebook page being deleted by aliens. I don't know. It is a film. I would give it a solid 2 out of 10. It's not one of the worst movies I've ever seen, because it's really funny. So there you go, War of the Worlds, featuring Ice Cube and his disapproving gaze with a Z and an E. Right, I also watched Doberman, which is a French late 90s action movie. Really over-the-top, violent action movie. Love it. Great stuff. It is insane. There are so many drugs getting taken in that movie that it's ridiculous. Cocaine-fueled, hardcore ultra-violence. Absolutely fantastic. Strong 8 out of 10. Highly recommended. A lot of people don't like the movie because they are pussies and don't like this sort of style, but that's their problem and not mine. I also watched the Japanese masterpiece Hot Spring Shark Attack, which is a CG shark movie that was released a couple of years ago. Takes place, surprise, surprise, in Japan. There are a bunch of sharks who are attacking people coming up from the ground through hot springs. And it's awful, but also really funny. I'd give it like a solid 5 out of 10. I've seen a lot of people like rate this very highly, but I just can't. It's so dumb. Like it's Sharknado, but Japanese with weird stuff in it. So worth checking out. Not great. I also watched the movie Himiko, which is a Shinoda movie. What is the name of the director? Is it Masahiro? Yeah, Masahiro Shinoda. It's a strange one in his filmography. I'd give it a strong 8 out of 10. If I rewatch it, I'd probably rate it even higher. It's a really strange. It's a very unique movie. It's about Japan's very early history. So early tribes living in the woods and early tribes living in the mountains, battling each other for power in very, very early on Japanese society, like before any proper Japanese society. And it's very interesting. It is at times unbearably annoying to watch because it's almost like a Teruo Ishii movie where you even have some of the actors that were in Teruo Ishii's movies around this time, especially the avant-garde performance artist dance guy whose name I can't remember, the guy with the long beard and the hair, who is in a bunch of Teruo Ishii movies like Horrors of Malformed Men. I would say that Himiko is almost like Horrors of Malformed Men, but art house. It's an art house version of Horrors of Malformed Men, for those who get the reference. So like 2 people listening maybe at this point. But yeah, Himiko is very interesting. It's again one of those movies like La Ventura. It's more interesting to think about it after watching it than it is often watching it. Watching it is not really a fun time for most part, for most of the movie. But yeah, it's an interesting one. And then I also watched another awful Finnish movie. Like last time I talked about one of the awful Visa Mäkinen movies, the director Visa Mäkinen. I watched another one of them. It was really bad as well. Kaikenlaisia karkulaisia. I'll probably edit the title on screen as well, like I did last time, if someone's interested in checking it out. I don't think you can watch it anywhere. It doesn't. I'm pretty sure it doesn't have any English-friendly release ever anywhere. Hopefully, it doesn't because it sucks. 2 out of 10. Really bad. It's a prison, it's like a prison break movie almost, kind of. It's difficult to talk about. It's just a bad movie. Like the genre of the movie is bad. Let's just leave it at that. Amateurish. Very amateurish movie again. Like almost all of this director's movies. Like he just cannot do anything properly. And then lastly, I rewatched Ichi the Killer, the Takashi Miike movie. I've last seen this when I was like 17 or 18 years old. So that's 15 years ago at this point. Maybe even a bit more. I liked this movie a lot when I first saw it. It hasn't necessarily aged as well as I would have hoped for. The CG scenes are really bad in it. It's an ultra-violent gangster movie. It has a serial killer in it and then some Yakuza in it. And the serial killer is kind of going against the Yakuza because he killed one of their high-ranking members and the Yakuza are trying to find him. It's an interesting one for sure. It is incredibly violent. It's incredibly nihilistic in its worldview. It's incredibly disturbing sexually also. Something that Takashi Miike doesn't necessarily do that often. There are some of that stuff in his movies, like Shinjuku Triad Society at the start. There's a blowjob scene that's quite infamous. So he has some of this material in it, but not to the extent of Ichi the Killer, where the serial killer is just a pervert, basically. Right, but yeah, I would still give Ichi the Killer like a low 8 out of 10. I remember liking it much more when I first saw it, but it's still a good time. I do enjoy it. It's a quintessential Takashi Miike movie. Definitely one of his better known ones as well. So yeah, there you go. That's it. That's the movies that I watched recently. 30 or so of them. I'll be back again next month with some more of this stuff. See ya. Thanks for watching.